If you're thinking about becoming a data engineer in 2026, then I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're about to walk into a trap that most people don't see until it's too late. Having worked alongside data engineers on real consulting projects for Fortune 500 companies, I can tell you something that most people in the data space will never admit. Data engineering is being squeezed from every direction. And if you don't understand why, you're going to spend months learning the wrong things and positioning yourself for a career that looks very different from what you're expecting. Hi, I'm Suleiman. My journey in tech started at just 18 years old, all the way back in 2015, and I was earning just $18,000 a year. From there, I managed to work my way all the way up to earning multiple six figures a year in tech, and now I'm running my own businesses across cloud and AI consulting, software, and my education company, where I've helped more than 900 IT professionals, engineers, and career switchers master cloud and AI. In this video, I'm going to reveal why you shouldn't become a data engineer, and if you stay until the end, I'll explain exactly what you should do instead. So whether you're someone who's considering this career or you're already working in this field and you want to stay ahead of the curve, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Now, to understand why data engineering is in trouble, we have to know what's actually happening in this market in 2026, because it's not what it seems. Here is what everyone tells you about data engineering. Data is the new oil. Every company needs data. AI needs data. Data. And while that's not wrong at all, it's not the full picture. So let me show you what's actually happening underneath the surface. Now, according to Indeed's Hiring Lab's latest report, data and analytics job postings declined 15.2% year over year through 2025. That's the largest decline across all tech categories. And yes, that includes software development roles as well, despite what Zuckerberg or Sam Altman will tell you. Now, does that mean data engineering is dead? Well, no. But what it does mean is that the landscape has fundamentally shifted. And if you are in this career, or you're even looking to break in, then you're going to want to know the chain reaction that's happening right now. And when you understand it, you will realize why the traditional path into this role is becoming the trap. Now, think about what a data engineer actually does day to day. Building ETL pipelines, writing SQL transformations, cleaning data, moving data from point A to point B, scheduling jobs, monitoring pipelines. So let me ask you this. What is AI exceptionally good at? Pattern recognition, automation, and repetitive tasks that follow predictable process and rules. And this isn't some hypothetical future scenario. This is happening right now on the platforms that data engineers actually use every single day. Databricks just launched Lakeflow Designer. It's a drag and drop, no-code pipeline builder with a generative AI assistant built in. Databricks is literally calling it the Canva of ETL, giving analysts the ability to build production-grade data pipelines without running any sort of code. Snowflake has done the same thing with Cortex Analyst and Snowflake Intelligence. Now, business users can now query data in plain English and get accurate SQL results back automatically. Now, no data engineer needed to write this query. No analyst needed to translate it. So you just ask the question and the AI generates and executes the SQL for you. Now, what used to take data engineers weeks of manual work is getting done in just hours. Now, zoom out with me for just a moment and think about what this means for anyone trying to break through in 2026. This is exactly why entry-level data engineering positions now represent just 2% of all job postings. Companies simply don't need to hire junior or entry-level positions to do it anymore. So the easy work is getting rapidly automated. The junior positions are disappearing because of it. And that creates a classic catch-22. So how do you become an experienced data engineer if there are almost no junior positions to start in? Because you can't get the experience if there's nowhere to begin. But here is where it gets even worse for people trying to enter this field. It's not just the entry level that is shrinking. The bar for what's left has gone through the roof. As of December 2025, 45% of all data and analytics jobs postings now mention AI. That's the highest of any sector. Nearly half of all data roles now expect you to have AI skills. Companies want you to understand LLMs, RAG, and vector databases, ML pipelines, data science, how to manipulate and prepare data for AI systems that run on cloud workloads. They want you to work with AI services, build automated machine learning workflows, and understand how data feeds into models at a production level. And honestly, this is genuinely difficult stuff. Like, for you to actually understand it in a way that moves the needle for a business isn't something that you can just learn in 5 to 6 months, because working with data at scale is really tough, especially with AI. Now you're required to know multiple domains to just compete for these roles. Okay, but what if you're already in this field? because everything that I've just said about automation and the rising bar, that doesn't just affect people trying to break in. It actually raises the expectations for existing data engineers too. So if the platforms are leveling the playing field and automating some of the work that used to make you valuable, then what actually separates you from the next data engineer? So in a market where data analytics job postings dropped 15% last year, how do you stand out? And this is where most data engineers have a massive blind spot. Every single data pipeline, data lake, every orchestration tool, all of it runs on cloud infrastructure. Your Redshift cluster sits inside of a VPC on AWS. Your S3 bucket needs IAM policies and encryption. Your Airflow instance runs on EC2 and EKS. The entire world that data engineers operate in is built on top of cloud infrastructure. But most data engineers have absolutely no idea how any of the architecture on cloud works. And I've seen this firsthand. I've worked with data engineers on consulting projects for Fortune 500 companies. They did not understand how Redshift actually works on AWS at an architectural level. The networking, the security, the data flows, right? The configuration, the cost, how it's deployed. They were just running queries and building the pipelines, but they had zero understanding of the cloud infrastructure underneath all of it. And I'm not even accounting the lack of infrastructure skills and building repeatable infrastructure with Terraform. And I think this is why so many data engineers that I speak to actually feel quite stuck. Unless you've got a broad foundation, generally your skills are locked inside one narrow domain. You can't transfer that knowledge into cloud or move into platform engineering, SRE, or even DevOps. But here is the flip side, and this is the opportunity that most people in data are completely missing. If you're a data engineer who understands cloud infrastructure, cloud architecture, who knows Terraform, who can build and manage the actual infrastructure that those pipelines run on, then you are in a completely different league. You are a cloud data engineer who understands the full end-to-end picture. You can design the infrastructure, deploy it with code, secure it properly, and then build the data systems on top of it. This combination is incredibly rare, and it's something that will help you stand out and future-proof your career in 2026, especially with all of the layoffs going on right now, because what you are doing is that you're building skills that allow you to compete for the roles that I've mentioned, cloud engineering, DevOps, platform engineering. Those doors will open for you, giving you more opportunities. My advice is that if you're looking to switch into a technical role like data engineering and you haven't got any sort of IT experience working in tech, right, then I suggest starting with cloud engineering instead. And yes, I do help people land six-figure cloud engineering roles. So if you want my help, click the first link in the bio. So I'm obviously going to be biased, but just hear me out. Cloud engineering is the foundation that everything runs on. Every data pipeline runs in the cloud. Every AI model trains in the cloud. Everything sits on cloud infrastructure. The cloud computing market is projected to grow from around $900 billion today to over $5.4 trillion in the next decade. A tsunami wave-like expansion. Much of that growth is being driven directly by all of the investments into AI that we're seeing from big tech. And unlike data engineering, which is getting squeezed at the entry level, and 45% of roles demanding AI expertise just to get into the door, cloud engineering has clearer entry points, especially if you haven't got any experience. Companies are hiring aggressively right now. I literally checked LinkedIn today, and over 1,000 jobs have been listed in the USA alone in the last 24 hours. There's plenty of roles being listed to work with the US government as well if you've got security clearance. Companies are also hiring cloud adjacent roles, and essentially the skills that you learn in cloud also transfer everywhere like we've mentioned. And then if you really want, you can also just pivot into data engineering later on. But I found that most people that I speak to are just looking to make the switch into a technical role, and it doesn't necessarily matter which one, but more just to get into tech. Now look, I am not saying data skills aren't valuable. Of course they are, right? Data is generally the fuel of AI, and companies need engineers who understand data at a fundamental level, but also at scale. But the market is telling you something very clearly right now. Open your eyes. Data and analytics postings are leading the decline in tech hiring. Entry-level data roles are nearly non-existent at 2%. The roles that remain are requiring AI expertise, which you just can't build overnight. The opportunity isn't becoming another data engineer who can build pipelines. The real opportunity is in becoming a cloud engineer who could architect the infrastructure that data and AI systems run on. It's like the gold rush in 1848, except you're not mining for gold, you are selling the shovels. And for those of you that are already data engineers, then a fair warning, because your skills are quickly losing demand in the market. And if you're not protecting yourself by understanding cloud engineering and actually giving yourself the flexibility to move into multiple domains, then I guess you just hate the idea of job security. As always, I'm rooting for you.